sitting on brand new bathroom floor that my mom and I can only hope was not installed, you know, as poorly as it's seeming to be. This 4-piece tub shower enclosure by Sterling. Not that the brand name makes any difference, you understand. I never knew these types of things existed. Where not only they come in 4 pieces, but according to Sterling Reps, and I've read it more than one place out on reviews and questions and answers on Home Depot and Lowe's, that an 1/8 of an inch gap is perfectly acceptable. And even an 1/8 of an inch, I looked on a ruler, you look on a ruler, don't tell me water can't get in between there and grime can't build up between that. I mean, when I was hinting around at this, you know what she said to me? She made it nonchalant. Nonchalant, just making light of it, like, oh, well, something probably popped out and has to be put. Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me? If something popped out that your wonderful employees put in, you know, it means there's an underlying reason, alright? It can't just be popped back in like it's no big deal. Your employees fucked up. These men you love so much after you deceived me from the start. She deceived me from the start. I told you, I'm used to males being contractors. When a female called me, it's just like the person who did the person who did the pipe underneath the house and found out about the leak and why the floor is bulging and all of that, okay? There's a woman who talks to you and you deal with him, whatnot. She's the receptionist. She doesn't do the work. Well, when I heard from a woman, I figured, oh, this is the person representing the male contractors, because it is a male-dominated business, okay? It doesn't mean there can't be females, but we all know it's a male-dominated business. So I'm talking to her, and I'm liking her. We have a rapport, you know. Remember, I'm under the wire here because the field adjuster's getting on my ass because I was unable to find a contract, even though trying my hardest. You understand? Our family plumber who's been coming here for years and years and years. Do you have anyone you can recommend? I'll ask around, Laura, and he gets back to me, everybody's too busy. He knows contractors, he knows people everyone's too busy. The same with the one who did when he came and did the pipe, he said, well, we have people we work with, you know, who fixed the bathroom as a result of and then I talked to them. We do have people we work with, they're just booked. They're booked. And this can't be postponed, it has to be done, see? So, in the end, I exhausted all avenues and had to resort to Home Advisor, okay? And then I have church women saying, I would have told you not to use, I had no choice anyway, but if you had warned, I've heard horror stories about people who have used you know, companies for Home Advisor. So, the fact is, I had a rapport with her, and I'm talking to her, and then I'm getting the feeling, I'm like, she knows a lot of whatever, and when she said something, it clicked in my brain, and I said something like, are you going to be actually doing the work? And she goes, I said, are you the and then we laughed, I said, and she goes, yeah, it would be me and one other guy, okay? At this point, she never ever said she owned the company or whatnot, okay? And again, a company that's been around for decades has 3 reviews online, and that's it, that I only read now because I liked her so much. I didn't need references. I didn't need anything. I trust everything you're saying. So you've worked with mobile homes? Oh, yeah, 1,000 times. But whatever, okay. But I know what I said. She could deny it to Kingdom Come. I never said that. Yeah, you did. I even told my mom, it was the reason I hired you, bitch. It was the reason I hired you. Because you were going to be hands-on the entire time, and I liked you. Okay? In the end, the men who are her employees, who are under her, who are the ones doing all the work. I never got to even meet them up front and decide whether or not I wanted them alone in our house for weeks, you know? I even said, I don't want anyone smoking in here, and she goes, don't worry, I don't allow it, okay? Everything indicated to me that she was going to be here the entire time, because if you're not here the entire time, how would you even know what your employees were up to? How would you even know if she's like, I only have one, and he knows he has to go, yeah, whatever, you know? How would you know? You didn't even know that there's gaps in this fucking thing. And I said to her, you know, a couple of days, didn't you take pictures? Not from that angle. Basically, you didn't examine your employees' work. You trusted that they did a great job. But what's even more concerning to me, like, is that they were here. They were here. I don't know if they had to, I guess you go from the side. I don't know if you have to step in, but whatever. They had to install that grab bar in the tub. So they were here and didn't even notice anything amiss, okay? But what really breaks my heart, which is the saddest thing to me, is because I know this happens all the time. My common sense tells me there are so many people like my mom. If this was just my mom dealing with all of this, she would think nothing's wrong. They would get away with it. She wouldn't know that anything was wrong with that. She would never know. Okay? I know because I pay attention to detail. And if I'm standing naked in the shower and I'm seeing something I'd never seen in any shower in my life, where I'm looking at a gap this thick and running the whole length of my shower wall, I'm going to start thinking to myself, I remember first I'm standing this way and seeing that one, which isn't as bad, but it's still, you know, and then I had to turn around. I had my shower shampoo bottles over there. I like to keep them not right there, further away. I don't know. It doesn't really matter. I turned around, okay? And all I'm sitting thinking, like, this can't be right. I actually got out of my shower to look online to see if I'm crazy. Like, that can't possibly be how it's supposed to be. But remember, I'm trusting this woman so much. There's no way that they would leave that like that. Okay? And I even read something that someone sarcastically wrote when somebody was saying, I have this gap, and, you know, expressing the same kind of concern. And they wrote sarcastically, like, can't imagine any contractor finishing and saying, oh, there's this much of a gap, job done, right? I mean, see, when Joe got fucked over with his driveway, he didn't like, you know, it's not like he was invested, not like he's a woman, it's not like he just adored the contractors who did, the people who did his driveway, you know what I mean? I really liked and trusted this woman, but in the end, she did deceive me from the start. She can deny it all she wants to. The only reason I hired her is because she was a woman, and I liked her, and I had a rapport, and I really felt good about the fact that she was going to be getting her hands dirty. She was going to be the one working on our bathroom the entire fucking time, and in the end, that was not true. And I got more and more proof of that, okay? When I came here and there were two men I'd never met, I came here that Wednesday, two men I'd never met, okay? And then, different things she told me along the way. In the end, the grab bar was so important to me, and I have to ask her the very day she's telling us we can go home, right, it's all set, was the grab bar installed? And she goes, oh, you know what, Laura? I didn't see it in the pictures. I don't know. I'll have to find, you know, it's like, what the fuck? What do you mean you don't know? What do you mean you don't know? You're sending us home and you don't know if the single most important thing to me I kept repeatedly and periodically telling you was done? Are you fucking kidding me? But again, you like someone, you let these things slide. Okay? Because a few days prior, I had said, when they were saying we're getting close to being, I said, was the grab bar installed? And she goes, it didn't come with the tub. And actually, if you had done your research, contractor, female, if you for just the same price pretty much, or whatever, you can get one comes with pre-installed where it tells you where to put it. But whatever, it doesn't matter, because somebody might want it different places, and that's probably not important. But the fact is, she had told me that she thought they came with it. She had told me from the start, oh yeah, it comes with it, grab bars come with it, and then I find out they don't. That concerned me, and I told her when I was mad at her, I'm like, in text I said, it concerns me, you didn't even know that it didn't come with it. But she's like, oh no, it didn't come with it, but that's right, I bought one separate. And then the very day she's telling us to go home and everything's beautiful, and she would be buying a few days, whatever, to pick up her last check, and so whatever. I had to ask her again, was the grab bar installed? And then I have to hear her say, well, I don't know. I didn't see it in the picture. I better call my guy and find out. But there were different things along the way where I know she didn't do this work. You understand? I don't know how often she was actually here. I know she didn't do the actual work, though. Okay? And only when it dawned on me when I was writing out the check, thinking I was going to write it the company name, and she said, no, make it out to my name. And I go, are you the owner? She's like, yeah. I'm like, oh, I didn't know that. But she misled me from the start, because she led me to believe, and I know what she said. I didn't record her, okay? But I know what she said, because I know that's why I hired her. I was like, oh, this is awesome. I love this woman, and she's the one who's going to be doing the work. No. It wasn't. She delegated it out, okay? And apparently didn't even closely examine it, or she would have seen the gaps here. But anyway, I've never heard of this type of four-piece thing. And I was sure I was right. I got out of the shower, naked, wet, went to my computer, wrapped in a towel, called this woman, couldn't reach her, texted, couldn't reach her, and then I proceeded to look online, okay? And when I find sterling reps writing where other people are expressing concerns about those gaps where the panels meet the back wall, oh, well, an eighth of an inch gap is acceptable on that, and then down the bottom, which is, I guess, an eighth of an inch is acceptable, which is 3 stacked credit cards width. But down the bottom, it's intentional where there's some gap between the wall, between the plastic wall, I shouldn't call it a wall, it's not a real wall, the plastic wall, plastic whatever, and the tub. And that is how I guess it's supposed to be. But that's only not supposed to be more than 1 credit card's width, okay? It's supposed to 3. Get it? I still don't see how water doesn't get up in there, but I'm very concerned, and it makes me wonder, people who have problems like this, if someone didn't do something major correctly the first time, why would you, as in anybody, want those same someones to come back and fix the problem? You get what I'm saying? What recourse do you have? Joe sued his contractor and he lost because it's rigged where he lives. There was no doubt in my mind he was going to win. Everything he was saying to me, his lawyer had independent thing come out and say, this is wrong, this is wrong, this is wrong. And in the end, Joe lost. And he's disgusted. He's disgusted, okay? His neighbor brought up that they did a lousy job, and Joe wasn't suspicious. They also, but Joe was already upset because they did something that fucked up his driveway where his car goes in. They left cement there, and it hardened, and his door doesn't close, and all this crap, and it hardened, and he tried to reach the guy about that and give him the benefit of the doubt, and the guy never got back to him. This is when Joe didn't know that the neighbor was going to say, they did a lousy job. Joe just thought it looked beautiful. He was sending me pictures and whatnot. That goes to show you, okay? And that's somebody who's really, really smart, my Joe. Think about all the people, elderly or whatnot, like my mom. They wouldn't know any better, okay? My mom would not know any better. She might think, she's not going to think. She's going to think, well, I trust them. They were nice, you know. But I'm standing there dripping wet naked and thinking, I've never seen anything like this in my life. How can that be acceptable? How can that be what they did? And they didn't examine the work. And then I have to hear the contractor who I liked so much be like nonchalant, oh, well, something must have probably popped out. I'll have to come and look at it. And she couldn't come right away. Okay, she can't come till this week. And we're expecting a bad storm, so, you know, I don't know if that will stop her from coming. But in any case, she could have come another day, but my mom has doctor's appointments that I'm going to, so that wasn't going to happen. But I thought for sure this can't possibly be right. And then I fucking read Sterling reps negating other people's concerns. There's got to be some reason that even a 1/8 of an inch gap is acceptable. Water can get in through anything. 1/8 of an inch is that much. That much of a gap is acceptable. I've never experienced this before. I never knew something like this existed. It comes in 4 pieces, and they're not tight, even though they're advertised as interlocking and seamless. 1/8 of a gap acceptable is not seamless, people. Seamless is seamless, you know? I mean, but it really doesn't matter because that definitely is more. That's definitely. But even if it was 1/8 of an inch, I don't even understand why that's acceptable. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. I don't get it. It makes no sense to me how you can say that a 1/8 of an inch, when I look on a ruler, and that's acceptable, and you're not supposed to be worried that water's going to go behind there and wreck your wall, and you're not, and grime's going to mold, the mildew is going to build up in the cracks. You're not, that shouldn't concern you, according to the Sterling rep. It's perfectly acceptable for that gap of a 1/8 inch to be there. And to me, that's fucking not seamless. Seamless is seamless, you know? If I'm wrong about this, then so are other people like Kurt and Churchwoman and whatnot. Because to Kurt, it's a no-brainer. It can't possibly be. And he says that he doesn't care what the Sterling rep said. They all say that, though, Kurt. There's got to be some reason that that's allowed, that margin of error, it's not going to perfectly align, and 1/8 is fine, and no need to worry, apparently. Like I said, I don't know why anybody would buy pieces of crap like this. And from what I was reading, they're notorious for arriving cracked. People telling horror stories where they had to keep going, getting more and more and more, okay? But people who are putting it in themselves, they're going to make sure it's perfect, and they're going to keep sending it back. This contractor is not going to give a fuck that there was a little chip up there. You know what I mean? Whether it arrived that way or whatnot. Not going to care. That's why before I realized what was going on, because I hadn't taken a shower intentionally, because Churchwoman was already concerned about this. She noticed it instantly. This faucet, where the water comes out into the tub, was not flush against the back wall. And she noticed that, and she called me, and she's like, Laura, I noticed that water's going to get behind there. Blah, blah, blah. And the contractor made light of that, too. And then Churchwoman said after the fact, did they come and do that? And I said, yeah, they put sealant everywhere there, like you said, blah, blah, blah. They put the grabber out. She's like, but did they do that thing that wasn't flush? And I said, I don't know. I don't know if they just put sealant around it. And she's like, it needed to be re-put in there. It was out. And I'm like, yeah, I don't know why, all right? I don't know, okay? I didn't watch them like a hawk. I stayed in my mom's bedroom with Omar, and half fell asleep and listened to music and on the brownout drilling or hammering or whatever, or, I didn't hear anything outside of my earplugs. I don't know. I wasn't going to stand over them, supervise them. It's going to be a different story with this. I'll sue. I'll tell my mom to sue. They are not going to get away with, she's not going to get away with just saying, oh, it probably just popped out, it needs to be popped back in. No. If it's popping out, that's a big fucking deal. That means the whole thing was put together wrong. At least that's what Kurt thinks and other, you know. It's what the church woman thinks. It's what Kurt thinks. It's what I think too. But the contractor isn't going to want to do this whole thing over again. I need a second opinion. Maybe we need to pay someone to come out and just, you know, this will be a service call so you can, so I have leverage, so I can be knowledgeable, so I can have a second opinion who will say, well, this must be what they did wrong and blah, 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 and this has to be done over, you know what I mean? And then I'll have that to say to her, and she can't just say, oh, it needs to be popped back in or some little thing like that. It's bullshit. It's bullshit. Own up to it. You guys fucked up, and why do I want the same people coming back and who did the shitty job in the first place? You understand? Why would anybody? It blows my mind. I've never experienced this before, but why would anybody? I've heard horror stories about contractors, even if they guarantee their work, if they fucked up the first place, why would you want them to come back and fix what they weren't able to do in the first, you know, they weren't able to do correctly? And I think it probably has to do with a lot of variables where these box store kits are not one size fits all. You can get them custom made or whatever, okay? When you pay more for custom made. If you go online, you can research it, but you get what you pay for. And when you try to do one size fits all with these, people are saying that even the inches, it'll say one thing on the box with inches, and they get it home and it's not exact. They're all fucking made in China, probably. They're not ever going to be exact. That's why somebody would do a custom made. But we're at the mercy. I didn't even know we were getting this. When I didn't know that they had not installed the grab bar on purpose, I went and said about these types of tubs. I didn't know. And then I'm told, I read online that it's all one piece fiberglass. It's not all one piece. It's 4 pieces. Okay? So I didn't have to worry about that. That's different than the all one piece. These are on studs, I guess, or something. I don't know. I guess there's wood behind there. I watched someone building this exact thing, actually. It looks just like mine. Ours, my mom's. I wasn't happy when she said that to me. Oh, I have to look at it. It probably just popped out. Yeah, that's not what other people are saying. They think you guys fucked up, did careless, would have gotten away with it if it wasn't me with my little eagle eye, and you know, but my mom wouldn't know any better. That's what breaks my heart. My mom wouldn't know any better. Other people like my mom wouldn't know any better, and that's so wrong. You know what I mean? That is so wrong. See this? So it runs from the top all the way down. All the way down. The length of it. Okay, it goes all the way down to the bottom of the panel. See? All the way. And you know, see how I can go like that? It's not aligned. I don't understand. It's on this side too. And yeah, I was standing here naked and never dealt with this before, but my common sense just said to me, but this one is that acceptable gap. This is the one that says that's you know, less than 3 credit cards worth. I don't understand. I just don't get it. And is this, see how my fingers go like this? And this is popped out. Is this supposed to be like aligned? I don't know how it works. I don't understand it. I don't understand it at all. You understand? I don't get it. It's just my common sense says, how do you, stuff's going to build up in any of these cracks. That's just my common sense. But also, won't water go through there? And then on this side, it's thicker. But I don't know what's behind there. Is that our bathroom wall? Even if it was protected behind there, which people say, can we put green board behind? They said, nope, you're not supposed to do that. It's direct to stud, blah, 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 okay? And then we go down here, like I said, we go down here, and you probably can't see anything, but up under here, just trust me, if you can see my fingers, you see my fingers? It's all gross and sticky under here where I can stick my fingers in, okay? And I don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. You understand? I don't know. I don't know. I don't understand it. But I don't understand how her men felt like this was just perfectly okay for this to be like this. I don't understand how her men felt that, I mean, I'm standing here naked and looking at that and thinking, I've never seen that in my life. I've never seen a tub where there's a big gap there. And what's going to happen with that gap? You can't clean in between it. I don't understand. And I'd be saying that, but I saw this one first, and this one was thinner. And then I read online that thin one is acceptable. I mean, running the length of the panel. That's not seamless. That's fucked. It's fucked up. You're a broken record. I don't care. Don't care. Omar, you're going to hurt yourself on the lamp. Move. Move, honey. Okay? I just don't understand this, people. I don't understand it. I don't understand this type of enclosure. But just my common sense says that can't possibly be right. And the fact they don't examine, no, he probably, like I said, if it was my mom, or they're just thinking, it was a cheap place. It's not like the bathroom was the greatest before, yeah, but it definitely had no gaps. In the shower tub where I could imagine grime and everything else building up behind there, let alone, and under there where I was showing you where all this stuff was hours and hours and hours after I took a shower. It was all pooled under there, okay? Water is going directly back there. That's why the church woman is like, she's like, you don't need to feel bad. You didn't do anything wrong. They're going to have to take that whole thing apart. And you need to be standing there and look and make sure they look and see if that wall's gotten wet behind there. Because if it has, they need to give it a whole day to dry before they even do the work after they've torn it out. Yeah. But according to the contractor, oh, it probably just popped out. We'll have to pop it back in. Uh-huh. Yeah. Popped out on both sides, right? According to you. Just needs to be popped back in, Meanwhile, my common sense tells me, but I'm not an expert. And when I was talking about other stuff, but what church woman said, the contractor was like, well, she's not, she's not a professional. Yeah, there are people who might not be professionals who have family members who are, and there are things you can't just automatically write off somebody just because they're not a professional. You know what? You know what I mean, people? You can't. But she did that. She's like, because she was complaining, the woman, about the work these contractors did, and she wanted the name of the company where I found her, so, and then she's like, you need to be armed with knowledge, Laura. You need to have that's what she basically was saying. Maybe somebody from Lowe's would come over there who does the installations and tell you what these people did wrong, so you'd have, leverage, so you'd know and be armed with knowledge. And maybe they come for free, and maybe they would come at the exact time the contractor is supposed to be there. And I'm like, yeah, I don't think so. People don't just do things for free, okay? But I'm starting to think that we should probably pay someone it's worth it, to do a service call, because I am really wondering how people who have something like this, where this is